Hey everyone, what's up? Welcome to my channel and welcome to today's video. So it's been so long since I've sat down in front of the camera and filmed with the holidays and just traveling and family staying with us and everything. It was just so crazy there for a couple of weeks and I wasn't able to film, but I'm back to my normal schedule. So I do apologize that I haven't gotten a video up in a couple of weeks, but like I said, I'm back to my normal schedule. There's gonna be new videos every single weekend. Today, I'm going to be sharing with you my favorite beauty products for the year of 2016. I'm really excited. I've got a lot of stuff to talk about, so I don't wanna ramble too much, but thank you guys for sticking with me. I do apologize once again for the lack of videos there for a couple of weeks, but let's go ahead and jump into this. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe if you aren't already. And let's go ahead and jump into it. I'm going to kind of put this all into categories. We'll see how that works out. But the first things I'm going to talk about are foundations. And I have three that really stuck out to me this year that I just found myself using constantly. And I'm going to start with the OG, like the original. This foundation can never do any wrong in my eyes. Like, this is hands down probably my favorite foundation of all time, and is the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Matte. I have the shade 106. This one is super, super tan, so I haven't used it in a while. I've used the shade 105 before as well. I think that one's a little bit better for my skin tone. This one's a little bit orangey and warm, but I love this foundation. It is so good, and it's super affordable at the drugstore. I think it's around 11 or 12 bucks. My skin matte throughout the day, medium to full coverage. It's amazing, especially if you have oily skin or combination skin. And to be honest, I've even used this when my skin feels a little bit more dry, even in the winter months, and it doesn't really cling on to any dry patches or anything like that. It doesn't accentuate texture. It's beautiful. It blurs out the pores, it sits on top of the skin, and just gives you a beautiful canvas. So I love this. It's so freaking good. They've got a new one that they came out with, a total cover that's supposed to be like super full coverage, and I'm dying to get my hands on that. Next up is a foundation that's actually a newer purchase for me. I think I've had it for a couple of months, and it's actually what I'm wearing today. This is the Estee Lauder Double Wear Foundation, and I have mine in the shade 2-in-1 Desert Beige. This is perfect for how my skin is right now. It's very light, but I have no tanner on or anything like this. This is just me, super pale, and this matches me perfectly. So I've been using this a lot lately because I don't know why, I just haven't been using my self tanner as much lately. And this one is really, really nice. It is more on the more expensive side. I believe this was around $30 or $40, somewhere in there. It's medium to full coverage. I'd say it's more on the full coverage, and you can really build this up to a nice full coverage. That's what I did today. I really like to apply this with the Beauty Blender, and then the L'Oreal Infallible, I like to apply that with a synthetic brush. But this one, I just find that, I don't know why, I think it just applies better with a Beauty Blender. Again, it sits on top of the skin. It doesn't really sink into your pores or anything. It covers everything really nicely. It gives a nice like matte finish, but not super matte like the Pro Matte. Really like it. Definitely one of my go-tos this year, and I will definitely continue to use it. It doesn't break me out or anything like that. It wears for a really long time, and I really like that it feels like it just kind of melts into the skin and it sets itself, but I do still use like powders over top of it, and it doesn't look cakey, anything like that. It's just a really, really pretty foundation. And for my last foundation, this mama right here is super expensive, but I have just fallen in love with this ever since I purchased it. This is the Marc Jacobs Remarkable Full Coverage Foundation. And when I say this thing is full coverage, it is full coverage, and that is one of the reasons why I love it so dearly. I believe this was $55, which is the most expensive foundation I've ever used in my life, but to me it's worth it. It is so beautiful, and you literally need like the tiniest amount of this and you cover your full face. So lightweight, and it honestly, it just smooths over the skin so nicely. And like I said, full coverage, if that's what you want with a semi-matte finish, this is going to be your best friend. I will have to say, every time I wear this, I always get compliments on my skin. People are like, your skin is so pretty. If you guys have some money to splurge on something really nice, this bad boy right here. Concealers, this was so easy, and I'm sure if you guys have watched anybody else's Best of Beauty videos, this has probably made an appearance. This is the Tarte Shape Tape Concealer that they launched a couple of months ago. I have mine in the shade Light, and this is such a good concealer. when I saw it launch, I really didn't think anything of it. I was like, okay, Tarte came out with a concealer, but then everybody started talking about this is the best concealer I've ever used. I had to get it, and I'm so glad that I did because this honestly is the best concealer I have ever used. And when I saw the doe foot applicator, I was thinking that looks really big. Like, I don't know how that's gonna work, but it honestly makes it so easy to just cover under your eyes and anywhere else you want to conceal and highlight, just so quick and foolproof. This is awesome. It's super full coverage. It almost sets itself. Like, I do still set it with a powder, but this doesn't crease right away like some of the other concealers I've tried in the past. It's like I gotta set that powder like right away because I would get creases. This one I can kind of take my time and everything like that. It's so beautiful. Hands down the best concealer I have ever used. Another super popular product that I have fallen in love with is the Laura Mercier translucent powder. And when I very first tried this, I was like, okay, this is a good powder, but what is everybody talking about? Everybody was saying this is the holy grail, this is the best powder ever, and I was like, it's good, but it's not mind-blowing. But the more I used it, the more I fell in love with it. I use this to set my under eyes every single day. I use this to set my whole face. It's just such a beautiful powder, and it doesn't look too powdery on the skin. Like some of the other loose powders I've tried in the past look really cakey. It makes your skin look airbrushed and flawless. It blurs out the pores. It blurs out any shininess or any texture. It just makes your skin look really, really smooth, which I love because, well, who doesn't love smooth skin? Like, let's get real. I've had this for months and months, and I still have so much product left, so I definitely think it's worth the investment, especially if you guys do have like oilier skin. You can set your whole face with this, and it really is going to help control that oil throughout the day. Really, really good. It lasts all day. It doesn't cake. It doesn't crease. Really nice, like just airbrushed, flawless look to your skin. I have a bronzer. This is by MAC. This is the Give Me Sun bronzer. I've raved about this on my channel since I got it. I love this bronzer. It's so beautiful. I use it mostly in the summer when I'm not really contouring. I'm just bronzing up the skin. This is really, really pretty. It's definitely not a contour shade. It's super warm, but it looks really nice on the skin. It just gives you that nice like sun-kissed look. I definitely use the crap out of that, and I still have so much product left, so definitely a really nice, just universal bronzer. If you're super, super pale, I think this might show up a little bit too orange on you. I've said that before. But if you have like light to medium or even darker skin tones, I think this will be really nice for you guys. Next product I have used so much, and I've had for a really long time, actually over a year, and I still just find myself using it constantly. But this is the Kat Von D Shade and Light Contour Kit. It's so pretty. You've got your setting powders and highlight shades, I guess, and then you've got your bronzers and your contours. I mainly use these two shades here. I use this one the most, and then I will use this one too if I want like a really structured contour. I will use this, and I use this for like a nose contour, and then these two shades I use the most as well if I want to, you know, brighten the under eyes or anything like that. These are super, super creamy. They're very easy to blend out. They're very pigmented, so you definitely need to use a light hand with them. But the more pigmented, you know, a little bit goes a long way. The longer this is gonna last. Again, this is kind of expensive, but I definitely think it's worth the investment. I've used the crap out of this as well, and I really have only hit pan on the banana shade here, but such a beautiful, just all-in-one contour kit. You've got your bronzers, you've got your setting powders. What more do you need, really? So definitely a really, really nice makeup product here. I love this palette so much. I've mentioned before on my channel that I'm not really big into blush, but there is one that really, it's really the only one that I ever use. I have a couple blush palettes and everything like that, but this one I just always find myself traveling with and just using from day to day. So this is the MAC blush in the shade Melba. This is a beautiful matte blush with a little bit of like peachy pink undertones. It's what I have on my cheeks today. Like I said, this is really the only blush that I use. It's beautiful for so many different skin tones for year round. This is one of those blushes that's very universal. You can use it with really any makeup look, and that's why I like it. I just want like a one and done, and this is it for me for sure. I use it all the time. It's beautiful. It's not super, super pigmented, but it's pigmented enough to obviously show up on your cheeks, but it's not going to be like one of those Becca blushes where it's like, whoa, those you can easily go overboard with. These, it's definitely just a nice flush of color. I love the formula for year round, any occasion, any makeup look, anything. This is such a beautiful blush. Now I want to talk about highlighters, and I have three that I shall share with you guys. And the first one is like seriously a no-brainer. If you guys have been on my channel for a while, it's really the only highlighter that I've ever really showed me using. From time to time I'll switch it up, but for the most part, I stick with this bad boy right here, and this is the Becca Cosmetics Champagne Pop Highlighter. What more do I need to say? This is so beautiful. It's so universal. I think it's just honestly the best highlighter I've ever tried in my life. The formula is beautiful. I use this all the time. But I have, in the more recent months, I've been using the Becca highlighter in the shade Moonstone. This came in one of those Sephora kits. That's why it's like a little travel mini size. This one is really pretty. When I saw it in the pan, I was thinking this might be a little too light for me, but honestly it's not. And I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just because it's a smaller pan. This one doesn't seem as pigmented as the Champagne Pop, which is okay because sometimes I could go a little overboard with this. This one is a little bit more natural. It's lighter. It's got more of like a vanilla undertone. It's really pretty. It's not too frosty or anything. It's going to be really nice for people with like lighter skin tones. I love them both, but I have to say Champagne Pop has my heart. The other highlight that I want to talk about is the Laura Mercier Baked Highlighter in the shade 01. It looks like this. Again, this is not a full-size product. I got this in a Sephora kit last year, like in 2015, and I've used this so many times. This is such a beautiful, like more natural highlight. It's definitely not as pigmented and shimmery as the Becca one, so this one will just give you like that nice, like lit from within glow. It's a little bit more natural. It's really, really pretty. It's still pigmented enough, obviously, to show up on the skin. It's more of that like champagne-y undertone. If you guys aren't into like the super boom, like you can see my cheekbones from outer space, this is going to be one of your best friends because, like I said a bajillion times, it's a little bit more natural but still very, very pretty on the skin. So now I'm going to talk about 3 eyeshadow palettes that really just stole the show for me this year. And the first one is the BH Cosmetics Carly Bible collaboration palette, and this is so beautiful. When I got this, I could not put it down. I still use it constantly, but I have found one other palette that I like a little bit more, but this one is really nice. And what I really like about this is you've got the highlighter shades in there, and the fact that it's so affordable and the quality is so on point. They're so creamy, they're so pigmented, they blend out like a dream. The shimmers are out of this world, like they are so good. And even like some of the darker highlighters, I will use those as eyeshadows instead of highlighters because they're a little bit too dark for me. But it is nice that there's the different shades in there to accommodate the different skin tones that everybody has. So I really like that she thought about different skin tones and everything like that for her palette. I love the shades. There's some neutrals and everything in there, just some good everyday colors, and you can really get a nice smoky eye with this. Anything you really want to create, it's in this palette. I love it. It's just good. It speaks for itself. Next palette I've talked about on my channel for a long time now, and this is the Lorac Unzipped palette, and it looks like this on the inside. I really like the size of the pans. They're a little bit bigger than your traditional eyeshadow palette. I've talked about this so much. I love the shimmers. I love the mattes. The pigmentation on these is just so on point. This was definitely like my ride or die palette until I talk about this next palette. But this is so beautiful. I don't feel like people talk about this palette enough. Because it really is good. You can create so many pretty eye looks. I love this shade Undiscovered and Unreal. I think these are so freaking pretty. They're both shimmers. And then the undercover shade, like this bone white shade, I love to just set my eye with that or highlight my brow bone, inner corner, anything. It's just, I love that palette so much. And for my last eyeshadow palette, this has been probably the most popular palette I've seen this year. Everybody and their mother was talking about this, and I'm so glad I finally picked it up. This is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Modern Renaissance palette, and if you like warm toned eyeshadows, this palette is for you. And I feel like a lot of people gravitate more towards the warm tones. I think that's why this was so popular, and the quality of this palette is just so good. I have some of her single shadows and they're good. They're really good. I don't know, something about this one seems like they're just better. I mean, these are pigmented as sin. They are so beautiful. I love the shade Real Gar. Like that it just makes me happy. It makes my soul happy. But the shimmers in this are almost like you're putting glitter on. They are so pigmented. They are so beautiful. I love them. I have like not one negative thing to say about this palette. If you guys have not tried this out yet, go get it. Go out. If I had to recommend one eyeshadow palette for you guys to have in your makeup collection, this would be it, because this can do no wrong. This is beautiful. I take this with me whenever I travel. I use it almost every single time I do my makeup. If I'm wearing eyeshadow, like today I didn't wear any eyeshadow because I just wasn't feeling it. I love this palette. I have a serious love affair with this. it can do no wrong. It's beautiful, it's great, I love it. I'm so glad about it. I have this Urban Decay Heavy Metal Glitter Liner in the shade Midnight Cowboy. Again, this is one of a more recent purchase for me, but I love this. And again, I feel like I'm talking about like the world's most popular products, but this was really, really popular and it made me intrigued to try it out. And I'm so glad that I did because I have used this so much since I got it. It's so pretty. It's so easy to just do whatever you want. You can pack this all over your lid. You can use it as a liner. You can put it on your lower lash line, which that's what I did today. You can use it as like a cut crease. It's very universal. It's very pigmented for like a glitter liner. Like I've said before, I've never used anything like this before, so I'm not going to sit here and say this is the best glitter liner that's out on the market, but it is really, really good, really pretty. I really like it. And I have tried a plethora of brow products throughout this past year and even before I did YouTube, and the one that I just always fall back on and I love the most is the Anastasia Dip Brow Pomade. I have mine in the shade Soft Brown, which I have this on my eyebrows today. This is just such a good foolproof brow product, and I've had this for a long time and I still have product left. Like, this is definitely worth the investment. I believe it was $18 and I've had this well over a year and a half and I still have definitely a lot more uses in this. It did dry out on me, so I ended up mixing a little bit of coconut oil in it. I think it still looks really natural. If you guys have naturally full brows, this might not be the best thing for you, but I have very sparse brows that I like to have a more fuller brow and filled in and everything, and this just does it. It's so easy, so quick. I love this. I always fall back to this. This is definitely my holy grail favorite brow product of all time. Two mascaras that I want to talk about, and the reason why I have two is because I use one for my upper lashes and one for my bottom lashes, because for some reason it is so hard for me to find lower lash mascara that does not transfer or flake off or anything. So the first one is the one I use for my bottom lashes. I've used this so much, I need to get a new one. This is the Touch and Soul Stretch X Stretch Lash Effect Mascara. Such a tongue twister. I love this for my bottom lashes. It just lengthens them, it separates them. It's a little bit thinner of a formula, but it doesn't run on me, it doesn't flake, it stays there all day long, and that's why I love it, because it doesn't run on me. And then the other one that I've been using so much for my upper lashes is the Too Faced Better Than Sex Mascara. This is such a good mascara. This separates your lashes and lengthens them. I really liked the Tarte Lights Camera Lashes mascara for a while, and then I started using this one. I just think this one's a little bit better, but I can't use it on my bottom lashes. It does separate them really nicely on my lower lashes, but a couple hours later it transfers underneath and I get like that darkness under there. It doesn't transfer on my upper lashes, so I don't know what that's about. I guess I just have tricky eyes. But this one is really, really nice. This is just like the little travel size, which I've said before on my channel, I like the travel size mascaras a little bit better when I'm doing my opposite eye. I don't really get it on my nose, and if I'm using like a full size, I will always get it on my nose. So for some reason, I just like the travel size ones a little bit better, but both of those are so freaking good for different reasons. I love them. I don't really have like a holy grail or favorite liquid liner for this past year. I found a couple that I like, but none that I thought was worthy of throwing in this video. But this eye kohl is to die for. The Estee Edit the edgiest eye kohl in the shade 01 Black Viper, and this is like the blackest, creamiest eye kohl I've ever used in my life. And it doesn't run, it doesn't smudge, it stays in place, it stays black as sin all day. I have so many black eye pencils, but this one is really the one that I use the most. If you guys are in the market for a black eye pencil, you should try this one out because it is so good. We've made it through everything except for lip products, and that is what I'm most excited to talk about. Probably should have done that first, but let's talk about my favorite lip products. The first thing is a lip liner, and you guys probably already know what I'm gonna talk about. This is the MAC Strip Down Lip Liner. I got this months ago, and I've literally not used another lip liner since I got this. It's so freaking good. It goes with literally any lip color that you want, especially nude lips, which I feel like is the most popular, most universal. It's more of like a brownie nude, but it's just perfect for everyday use, and it's not super, super creamy. It's got almost a little bit more of like a dry texture to it, but it stays in place so nicely. It just pairs well with so many different lip colors. It's it's just perfect. It's universal. You can use it with anything. It is a little bit pricey, but like I said, I've had this for months and months and months, and I still have this much product left. I've only had to sharpen it a couple of times, and that is literally with like everyday use. So definitely lasts a long time. I have two lipsticks that are super similar in shade, but to me, they're just a little bit different. So the first one is the Dose of Colors lipstick in the shade Poise. And I actually did like a full video on these, and this is such a beautiful like peachy nude. I love the formula of this. It is more of like a creamy finish, so it's not going to be matte or anything. And then the second one is, I love this lipstick so much. I really love all of these. This one is a little bit more peachy. This is MAC Peach Stock, and this is more of a satin finish, so it is a little bit more matte than the Dose of Colors one. Both of these are so beautiful. Like I said, they're pretty similar in color, but the Peach Stock is just a little bit lighter and a little bit more of that peachy undertone. Both absolutely gorgeous. I love pairing these with the MAC Drip Down Liner, wearing them on their own, or I'll wear them over a liquid lipstick, anything like that if my lips are feeling a little bit dry. Not a huge lipstick person, to be honest with you guys, but these two have definitely like stolen my heart. They have a special place in my heart. I love them. I have two Dose of Colors liquid lipsticks, and these are probably my favorite liquid lipsticks I own. I wear these the most. I have two shades here. One is Bear With Me and the other one is Truffle. Of course, they're both nudes. The Bear With Me is just a little bit lighter. Let me swatch it there. This is a beautiful like pinky nude. It's a little bit darker, so like I said, sometimes I will use a little bit lighter of a lipstick to put in the center just to lighten it up a little bit. Different foundations will make this look a little bit different on me, so when I'm more pale, it shows up a little bit more pigmented and everything like that. And then the other one is Truffle here, and this one is more of like a mauvey brownish undertone to it. Still a nude, but a little bit darker. This one's beautiful for like fall and winter, but I wear it any time of the year. They don't transfer, they wear for a really long time, and they don't crack on me whatsoever, so that's what I really like about them. They're so pretty. I love them so much. I have two more liquid lipsticks, and they're these little tiny guys right here. These are the Jouer liquid lipsticks. I have two shades here. One is Buff and one is Creme Brulee. Of course, both nudes. Like every lip product I have is a nude because I'm obsessed. So this one is Creme Brulee, which is like a matte, warm, peachy nude that's a little bit darker than Buff. This is really pretty. And then this one is Buff, which is like a super light, and this one has a little bit more of a pinky undertone to it, but still a little bit warm and peachy. This one reminds me of the Anastasia Naked liquid lipstick, but I love the formula of these so much more. These are a little bit more drying than the Dose of Colors, but they still wear for a really long time. They don't crack. They go on very nicely and creamy. I love these so much. I'm definitely gonna have to pick up the full size when I run out of these. I've been wearing these constantly since I got them in the mail. They're just so beautiful. Not typically a lip gloss girl, but there's one that I just really like, and it's really the only one that I ever wear, and this is the NYX Butter Gloss in the shade Fortune Cookie. This again is a pretty light nude, but this isn't super pigmented, but it goes so nicely over liquid lipsticks and just gives a nice like shine and sheen to your lips, adding a little bit more of a nude color to it. It's more of like a light pink peachy nude, which, can you tell the theme here? Yes. It's just overall a really nice affordable gloss, and it smells pretty good too. But yeah, I mean, it's just a typical like nude gloss, but for some reason it's just one of my favorites, and it's just one that I use a lot, and it just pairs nicely over really any lip color, but especially a nude one. It just gives that nice like pouty look to your lips. Alright guys, we have made it to the end of this video. I feel like this is going to be such a long video, but I had so many good things to talk about. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Thank you so much if you made it to the end. You guys are real troopers. Listen to me ramble and talk about all the makeup products that I have loved for the year of 2016. So please leave me your favorite products down in the comments below. I'd love to know what products really stood out to you this past year and everything like that. So once again, thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.